generally located on the left hand side of your screen. The tools panel is broken up into 4 different sections of tools. The first section of tools is used for selecting, cropping and measuring. The second is used for retouching and painting. The third is used for drawing and typing, and the final section is used for page navigation, the colour, foreground and background tool, and the quick mask tool. Now let's take a closer look at all these tools. The first tool in section 1 is the Move tool. It allows you to move selections or layers within Photoshop. The next tool down is the Marquee tool, allowing you to draw selections such as the rectangular marquee tool, the elliptical marquee tool, single row marquee tool and single column marquee tool. The next tool down is the Lasso tool, allowing you to draw freehand within Photoshop and make selections. You can also use the Polygon Lasso tool, allowing you to draw point to point, which is very good for selecting things with a hard edge. You can also use the Magnetic Lasso tool. The next tool down is the Quick Selection tool. This allows you to make a selection by painting and works on the colour of the pixels. You can adjust whether to add or take away from a selection up here on the left hand side. You can also adjust the tolerance and size of the brush, so how you select something. There's also the Magic Wand tool, which works on the same principle. You can adjust the tolerance also. Our next tool down is the Crop tool. This allows you to crop your image within Photoshop, which is very handy. Also within that you've got the Perspective Crop tool, the Slice tool and the Slice Select tool. The next tool down is the Eyedropper tool. This allows you to select the foreground and background colour and comes in quite handy when selecting various tones. Next tool down is a Spot Healing Brush tool. This tool is very useful for if you photograph with dust on your lens. You simply make the brush big enough so it covers the circle of the dust. You click on it and it will remove the dust. It's also a very good tool for removing blemishes of the skin. Also within this tool you've got the Healing Brush tool, the Patch tool and the Content Aware Move tool, as well as the Red Eye Removal tool. Next tool down is the Brush tool, a very useful tool within Photoshop. Allows you to paint on pixels, as well as use things such as layer masks and clipping masks. You can go up here and adjust the size of your brush, as well as the hardness, the style, the screen type that you want to be working on, the opacity and the flow. Our next tool down is the Clone Stamp tool. Now if you hold down Alt on your keyboard and select an area of an image, it allows you to clone the area that you selected with Alt and allows you to paint somewhere else in the image the exact same thing that you were cloning. Our next tool down is a History Brush tool. This basically works off of a snapshot and allows you to work with layers that you've previously used. Our next tool down is the Eraser tool, allowing you to erase and remove pixels, such as this. Let's get rid of some pixels here. Our next tool down is the Paint Bucket tool, allowing you to paint the foreground colour. And then we also have the Gradient tool within that, allowing you to paint gradients on your images, which comes in very useful for if you're working with skies. Our next tool down is the Blur tool, allowing you to blur pixels, the Sharpen tool, which allows you to sharpen pixels, and the Smudge tool, allowing you to smudge pixels. Our next tool down is the Dodge tool. Now the Dodge tool makes pixels lighter, whereas the Burn tool makes them darker. Then we move into section 3, we have the Pen tool. Allows you to draw vector lines and create vector shapes. It's also very useful for selecting. The next tool down is the Text tool. Allows you to add text to your images and layers within Photoshop. Comes in quite handy. The next tool down is the Move tool, allowing you to move selections within Photoshop, move them and place them in different areas. And then the next tool down we have the Rectangle tool, allowing you to draw vector shapes within Photoshop. And finally we move into our final section. We have the Navigation tool, or the Hand tool, allowing you to move around once you've zoomed into your image. We have the Magnifying tool, which I was just using to magnify into the image, allows you to zoom in closer. we have the foreground and background colour tool, and if you click on that you can change your foreground and background colour. And finally we have the quick mask tool, which comes in very handy, allows you to paint and turn that into a selection, but we'll get onto that